39 all-time between these two teams. Look at how close the series history is now. Hofstra has controlled the recent series, but Drexel got the last meeting a week ago. We could be in for a good one tonight.
Oh, yeah, and there's not a lot of separation between both these programs, and we'll see early on that this is a heated matchup. Two teams trying to separate themselves and get those top 4 slots for a double bye in conference tournament action coming up in March.
Top 4 in the conference get the double bye out of the 14-team league. John Gaffney, Nathan Hall, Tim Kelly, our assistants tonight. Hofstra in the home whites. Drexel in the navy, and we've got some clock issues to start, which allows us to go into Dr. Turner's office for his keys to the game.
Well, for Drexel, point guard play is so important, even more so tonight with their head guy, Justin Moore, being out. And with him being out, that means that someone else has to step up, and that is going to have to be Jamie Bergens, who's stepping up. And then you got to get Amari involved early. He's their main go-to guy. So that is going to be the key for Drexel. And we'll get back to the keys for Hofstra in the next break.
Tyler Thomas wastes no time and is off.
This game all about tempo. They want to get Amari Williams going early. And for Hofstra, you know, it's all about protecting the paint and then helping Tyler Thomas. Who else is going to be that other guy to give him some relief? Normally it's Dubar, but someone else, maybe Jaquan Carlos as well. They're more than capable of being those second and third guys to relieve Thomas from scoring the ball so much.
Down the drive, and the floater is good. German Plotnikov has become a real X factor for this team.
Well, he understands spacing. He's got good size at 6'5", and that's a nice job using that ball screen to get an angle right into that mid-range area for a nice floater.
Zach Spiker, the Drexel head coach, said he just gives them a different dimension on top of Thomas and Dubar, who's having a career year. Bergens is long, and look at the way they box out Williams.
Well, that is a key thing, and you can tell it's a point of emphasis. You got to keep Williams off the glass. It's the best rebounding team by far in the league, Drexel.
Carlos, a little bit off, and there is Williams on the glass.
This Drexel team, a little different kind of pace they'll play without Moore, but Bergen's more than capable of pushing the tempo and organizing them in the half court.
Here's House. So savvy.
Yeah, it was just a nice job by House getting into the paint, and those paint touches cause the defense to collapse, but it also opens the game up because when the defense comes in, it will open up the game for the shooters. Nice backdoor cut there by Thomas.
House, a Division II transfer, was really served in a big role, and all the way to the rim, D-Stone Dubar.
Well, Dubar is just another big-time player, and it's kind of Batman and Robin between him and Thomas, and not right there, a nice quick first step extending, and he loved that baseline as a space to operate and score the ball.
Dubar had 24 against Northeastern most recently. Into Williams, who got a step. 6 on the shot clock. Monroe, the Penn transfer. Can't connect.
Nice job by Hofstra, not giving up the blow-by, staying in front and contesting, making that a tough contested shot, which is why he came up short.
Hofstra had a double-digit lead in Philadelphia a week ago, but Drexel had a huge second half, shot over 60%.
Yeah, well, this is a Drexel team that has so many weapons, and they don't have any really big scores, but they're very balanced with their scoring attack.
Thomas fading, automatic.
Very methodical. He gets to his spot. When he gets to a spot, it's hard to stop him, and just very, very good poise and patience by Thomas getting into the mid-range off the back down.
Foul away from the ball.
Thomas right here, just a nice save to keep this ball in play, and he goes right to his wingman Dubar, and those two guys play so well off each other. They know where each other are going to be at all points of the game, and they're looking for each other. And when they command so much attention, a lot of times it opens up the game for the other guy because of the way they can score the ball.
Thomas, a fifth-year senior. That was nicely done on the inbounds, but O'Cruz could not connect. Carlos was looking for Fritz, but a turnover.
Yeah, he had him, but a little bit too high on the pass, and Jaquan Carlos, one of my favorite players. He just has grown his game year by year. Last year I thought was his breakout year as a sophomore, and this year he's gone up even another level as a primary big-time playmaking point guard, can score the ball, but he's always looking to get his teammates involved first.
I'll credit the Coastal Athletic Association's Miles McQuiggan for this headline in their notes, CAA notes. Are we playing 2K out there? 19 assist game?
Yeah, that's not normal.
That's not normal at all. It'll stay with Drexel. Have you ever seen that?
The thing about him is he's so good at changing speeds, good rotation here defensively, good quick hands by Thomas and Carlos on the trap.
And naturally, he's a Brooklyn, New York boy.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson High School.
So we might have another clock error. But you're right. Brooklyn, Thomas Jefferson High School, and from the very start of his career, we were talking with Speedy Claxton when he came into the program, and Speedy said, this kid is my guy. He is like as if I molded a point guard in my image and likeness.
Well, you know, he's really a student of the game. He watches film. He works on his game. He's always in the gym. And Speedy Claxton said, look, this year I don't have to even coach him as much. Last year I did, but this year he knows what I expect, and we're always aligned.
Oakhurst was shut down as the shot clock winded down Sunday.
Spacing so important for Hofsta. They want to move the ball and try to look for those open slots.
Silas Sunday.
Nice finish by the big man, but it starts with a pass by Jaquan Carlos, always looking for his teammates. And a nice delivery by the point guard.
Transfer from Iona, Silas Sunday. Williams glides and connects.
But that's what makes him so dangerous. He wants to get to his left, and when he gets ahead of steam and gets that first step, it's hard to stop him. He's just so athletic and so explosive. And defensively, you got to force him to his right. Mari
Williams, just an amazing career for him. Last week, 14-6 against this Hofstra team. A 79-77 Drexel comeback win back into Sunday. Look at Williams just stand him up.
He's strong. He's not going to be back down.
Thomas with three. Oh, Tyler Thomas. He hit that from Midtown.
And, you know, some people would say that was a bad shot. But Thomas, you know, I think he makes more bad shots than anyone I've seen because he's just that good of a player. The defense wasn't bad. They were right in his pocket, but he just had enough space to get the shot off and knock down a three.
Williams, tough shot. This is a sharp start for Hofstra.
Yeah, and they're playing with pace. They're getting the ball up the floor quick. And Thomas and Dubar have been the catalyst along with Jaquan Carlos.
Dubar off on the three. Again, no Justin Moore for Drexel, their point guard. So Jamie Bergens gets the start tonight.
Bergens, a strong lefty guard, a little bit bigger than Moore. He's more known for his defensive pressure.
A foul on Sunday as Monroe went on the take.
Early on, Hofsta playing with a little bit more tempo, and the ball movement. Hofsta leads the CAA in assists because they got guys like this that can score at any level. Talking to Speedy Claxton. These guys are aligned. He knows what Speedy wants. Speedy doesn't have to really tell him much because he knows that he has to run the show, get his guys organized, be aggressive with his tempo, controlling tempo, and getting everyone else involved is when he's at his best.
Carlos had 19 assists to just 2 turnovers as Lucas Monroe, the grad transfer for Drexel, is at the line. In that win over Northeastern Saturday, Northeastern as a team had 18 assists to 13 turnovers.
That's incredible. And they were the most assists in a single game in both Hofstra and CAA history. It's his 5th game with 10+ assists. He's had 3 double-doubles this year. He's just really taken on that responsibility of being a premier point guard, one of the top point guards in the conference.
And Speedy Claxton loves his toughness.
Here's a set they run to get Thomas a shot, but it goes into a ball screen. Everything ends in a ball screen. Nice. That's great execution. And they started out trying to get a cross ISO for Thomas, but the ball screen by Sunday and then the roll perfectly executed. And Sunday is giving them a lift with his point presence.
Tariq, he only averages a bucket a game. He's got 2 slams already. Easy like Sunday morning on the rejection.
Like yeah. Sunday coming up big on the defensive end.
Carlos is short, but Speedy Claxton said his team was hungry for revenge. I'd say Silas Sunday might have gotten the message.
Well, keep in mind, Amari Williams is out of the game, and Sunday is taking advantage of that, and there's a nice play call. Speedy Claxton runs some great timeout plays out of timeouts.
Monroe fouled by Thomas. For Drexel, as great as they've been in conference play with that 10-4 record, road games have been different. That's all part of life in the Coastal Athletic Association.
Well, you know, there's a saying that, you know, in conference play, you got to protect your home court, and you got to steal a few on the road if you want to really have a chance at the end. And, you know, it's hard. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, teams at home usually win in most cases, and it requires full concentration, lack of mistakes, and a 40-minute focus from top to bottom, and a lot to be determined here with the game still getting underway. But right now, Hofsta has been a little sharper with their execution.
Checking in, Bryce Washington for Hofstra.
They're trying to set an up screen for Sunday. They're trying to play through Sunday here and give him some touches.
Thomas with the fader, and that time he was well defended.
Yeah, nice job by Drexel. Fortunately, I mean, that's what you want to do defensively, is make him take tough twos, and if he makes them, you got to live with it, but make him earn it. Nothing easy.
Oden with the fake, couldn't connect, got his own miss. That 3 a little bit long for Butler. Tyler Thomas is a bucket.
It's just a great outlet pass and a good kick ahead pass by Dubar. And as I said earlier, those guys look for each other. The long rebound and the push by Dubar. And the spot up 3 in transition is hard to stop when Thomas gets his feet set.
Here's Jaime Butler. Zach Spiker felt like this could be a big night for him. He can't finish. Turner can't connect, and Butler.
It was a big moment for Drexel because it broke a 4-game home losing streak to the Pride dating back to 2017. And you better believe that Hofsta's hoping to get some revenge tonight on their home court.
Zach Spiker, you think about the job that he has done, winning records each of the last 3 seasons, got this program to the NCAA tournament 3 years ago. He has been consistent.
Yes, and you know, he's a great guy. You know, you love talking to him before the game. He's always so kind to share with us what is the key things that make this program go. And it's about his players, his staff, and just being connected. And you know, he's done a really good job in his 8th season. And everyone remembers just a few years ago in 2021, led the Dragons to their first ever CAA tournament championship and first NCAA tournament appearance since 1996. So he is trying to get back to that, as there's a clock issue here.
We're getting an explanation right now. Let's take a look at the year by year for Spiker. You think early, when he took this program over, to now, they have really turned into a winner. They've turned into, also, the evolutions can be seen in the analytics. They've jumped in KenPom each and every year he's been at the helm.
Well, the thing that stands out to me is the fact that they're tough. They're mentally tough. They're physically tough. They rebound the ball. They work on it in practice. They play together. And they've got good leadership with Amari Williams and then the young guard, point guard, who's not playing today, Justin Moore. Those 2 guys at the helm.
Thomas is automatic off 1 foot.
I mean, it's just uncanny. The footwork, the balance, and the ability to not allow the defense to speed him up. And it's almost like the defense isn't there, but they are. And he makes a lot of shots that are highly contested. And you see that stat right there, 20th consecutive game with 10+ points. That's not easy to do. And I think we talked about it earlier, John. He's our front runner for Player of the Year in the CAA.
We're not even 10 minutes into the game, and he's hit 10 points.
Yeah, it's just too easy. Just watch this shot right here. A fadeaway contested pull-up. And when he fades away, it just gives him just enough space to avoid the block shot.
That's a tough finish by Butler.
And Butler's made 2 nice drives to the rim. He's a strong, aggressive, physical wing. And he gives them some experience in the backcourt with his drives and his aggressiveness.
Robinson off, but there's some hustle from Dubar to work it back to the prize.
Yeah, Hofsta seems a little quicker earlier to the ball, and there's been a couple moments when first it was Thomas and now Dubar just chasing down those loose balls and saving those extra possessions for the Pride.
February has been a great month for Hofstra in the Speedy Claxton era. They're 21-3 in February under Coach Claxton.
Well, you say it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and I'd rather look at this. Look at this. I mean, he's putting on a clinic. And right now, it'll be interesting to see if Zach Spiker and the Drexel team can adjust and maybe double him and make him get the ball out of his hands.
Butler kicks McGee, all 3 of these, Kobe McGee.
And that was all about ball movement, making the swing pass, the extra pass, was what allowed McGee to get a clean look.
Kobe McGee has evolved this season for Drexel his sophomore year. That's Thomas, in and out. He felt like it was going in, you could see it.
It looked like it was going in. It just rimmed out, but a nice read by Thomas, rejecting the ball screen.
Butler with a tough drive, and Williams is fouled.
And did you see Williams there? He immediately crashed the glass, and that is a hard guy to keep off the glass with his motor and his physical approach right there. And nice try by Carlos, but just too small. And he was like a little gnat to Amari. Amari just kind of looked at him like, hey, man, are you really trying to block me out? And look at the influence by Amari Williams in the minutes.
Hey, stop.
Only 22 minutes a game, and he's still averaging close to a double-double. First in blocks. Tremendous play.
We got another situation from the officials here. They're looking at a potential flagrant foul.
On the blockout?
That's right.
Huh. I didn't see that. Maybe we can see a replay. I did not see that, but that looked like a play on. They're just going to call a regular foul there.
Tim Kelly, Nathan Hall, John Gaffney, our crew tonight.
Okay.
Just a common foul.
Just a common foul, and I think that was the right call. You know, you're allowed to be physical. Carlos doing his best to keep Williams off the offensive glass, and all you can do, actually that was Keyshawn Robinson who got that foul, number 0, and he was the one who tried to keep Williams off the glass.
We've talked about this before during Amari Williams games, but I don't feel like you can talk about it enough. Zach Spiker met this kid in a parking lot in England. He was out at Myerscough College. He was recruiting Mate Okrus. Okrus now in his 5th season with the Dragons. Williams a senior. And Zach Spiker goes up to Okrus after the game and says, great game, what's going on? All of a sudden Williams comes up next to him and Spiker goes, hey, who are you? Mate goes, he's Amari Williams. And Zach goes, who are you going to play for? Amari goes, I don't have a home.
And that was all they wrote. That's all they wrote. It was just that kind of chance encounter. And you know, Williams had a chance to enter the portal and go to another school, but he told Zach Spiker, look, I love it here. I want to finish out my career here, and good for him.
Robinson was short on the 3, and just like that, Drexel's within 3.
Well, this Drexel team is going to be physical and try to wear you out on the glass. And Amari Williams is the main catalyst. And without Moore, they don't have that same kind of tempo. But I like the fact that Yami Butler's been aggressive and trying to pick up some slack in the scoring department.
And right on cue, as Drexel's back within 3, Speedy Claxton says, let me get Plotnikov, let me get my point guard Carlos back into the game.
Yeah, you give him a little breather and get right back to your horses.
John Fanta, Tyreek Turner with you on a big night on Long Island. Hofstra, they call this a must-win game against Drexel to make sure they're in that top 4 in the CAA. They still got to go to UNCW and Charleston, toughest road swing in the league. Williams with 5 on the shot clock. Carlos with the rebound.
Well, he got to his right shoulder, but a nice job by Sunday kind of just weeding him out with his size and his ability to be a little physical.
Dubar on an island. Williams said no, but they will count it. And the reason why, folks, is they will review that at the next media timeout. Calling goaltending there allows them to go back and review it.
And we'll watch it here.
That's clean.
That looked like a good block. That was not a goaltend. On the way up, that's a good block. And a great rotation by Williams. He came from the weak side, sniffed that out, and that's one of the reasons why he has been back-to-back conference player, defensive player of the year, because he's an eraser down low with his size and shot blocker.
This happened last night in the LSU-Kentucky game.
Yes, it did.
And they went to the monitor. So you're almost looking at the score right now. It is 22-17. That bucket's going to come off the board in all likelihood after our next timeout.
Well, good help side by Thomas.
Carlos. Thomas with another nice dish. Sunday lost it.
Yeah, just not good hands there. And
Thomas again. How about the hustle from Thomas? How did he do that? And a foul from behind. Dubar foul.
And Thomas, active hands. He's got 3 or 4 deflections. Not just a scorer, but active on the defensive end, Thomas, and making his impact on both ends of the court. And the steals lead to transition opportunities, which is how Hofstra wants to play. Get out in the open court and try to run.
Yeah, that'll come off.
Please welcome your 11-time national champion and 2-time world champion, Hofstra University Tag Team.
I like Trezarian White, too, though.
I do, too.
I really like him.
I do, too.
No, we're good.
I do, too. We can bring his name out.
Now, where are they in the standings? Let me see. Okay, yeah, they're 10-4. Shit, right.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Tyler Thomas off to a hot start. No surprise there. He's the best scorer in the conference. 12 points, 5 of 8 from the field. And you're just seeing the whole arsenal here. He's got the 3-ball. He's got the post-up. He's got the fadeaway. He's got the 3 in transition. He is the kind of guy that can make every shot on any part of the court. And you look at these active career point leaders, and there's no surprise that he is in the top echelon of those guys. And it's just incredible that he is 12 points away to reach 2,200. I think he's going to make that tonight.
I would say. It really is amazing what he's been able to do. And we talked with the Hofstra staff pregame, and they said, and this statement says it all, Tyler Thomas allows us to have culture.
Yeah, and that means a lot because he's all about team. You know, and a lot of times when you have a guy that scores like that, they can get a little, you know, caught up in their numbers, but he's all about team. He'll do whatever it takes to win. And last year, he took a backseat to Aaron Estrada, who's at Alabama now playing very well. But he was probably the player of the year in the conference last year. If you ask Speedy Claxton, he didn't get it. Aaron Estrada did. And, you know, Thomas was fine with that, but Thomas was the guy that was probably the most consistent scorer on the Hofstra team last year. So this is nothing new. He just elevated his play because he's had to take on even more of a scoring responsibility with his team.
He's got National Player of the Week honors this season. Has just had a fantastic year in that race with Trezarian White of UNCW and others for Player of the Year. Shot clock at 5. To the corner. O'Cruz saw 3 of these.
Well, you love the ball movement there, and it starts with the drive and kick, the penetration. When they get a paint touch, in this case, Thomas helped a little bit too much and left O'Cruz wide open for a 3-ball in the corner.
Nice response by Drexel.
Yeah, it's all about ball movement from Drexel. Nice pass. Oh,
that was deflected by Bergens, who gets the start tonight for Justin Moore. Again, Drexel starting point guard out with an illness.
Well, Bergens very alert on his defensive end. He's got length. He's a little bigger than Moore. And he has that ability to get in the passing lanes and be disruptive with the deflections.
Stay with Drexel.
Here's Monte Okros. Just spotting up, and it comes off the penetration. When you get good paint touches and you cause the defense to collapse, you're going to get wide open shots. And Okros stepped up and knocked that one down with ease.
A couple of years ago in the CAA tournament, he was the reason why Drexel won it. O'Cruz is scalding.
He does a nice job of moving without the ball, and he caught that ready to shoot. He didn't hesitate, quick release, and he's got a nice rhythm right now.
Drexel is on an 11-0 run over the last 3:30. Their first lead of the night. Tyler Thomas can't end the drought.
And Drexel went from missing quite a bit of layups. They were 3 of 9 from layups, and now they've hit 2 threes in a row to get the lead. And it's going to be all about momentum, and right now Drexel has it 5 of 7 after a 2 from 13 start.
Well, and their offense has evolved this year, Tyreek. They've had 7 different players lead them in scoring in a game this year.
Yeah, good point, John. And you know, this is the kind of team where they don't have a ball dominant player or a ball dominant scorer. Justin Moore, who's out, the lead scorer, only averages 12 points a game.
On the back down, Fritz can't hit.
Nice.
Oh, a collision. A ton of contact for no whistle.
There was a lot of contact there. It looked like a football game.
It did. Near turnover. Shot clock's down to 7, and now Hofstra has numbers. Plotnikov ends the 11-0 run, and the foul.
That's a textbook fast break. Great job by Dubar. Running the break as a 3-on-1. They got numbers. He had his pick and decides to go to Plotnikov, who's one of the better finishers, especially in transition. And when Hofstra can get out and run, they will take that any time of the game. Playing up tempo, under control is how they want to play.
Plotnikov from Belarus. 20 points apiece in 2 of the last 3 games.
He's an important player. He's one of those X-factor role players. Tied his career high in points Saturday with, as you said, his second 20-point effort.
Here's Monroe. Shot clock at 8. House was denied. Shut down by Dubar.
Great position defense.
Carlos, catch.
Well, one of the things that makes this Hofsta team so good is they all share the ball. And off the pass is how they score most of their points. They lead the CAA in assists at about 15 a game.
That laid up and in by Monroe. Nice backdoor pass by Turner.
So we're seeing 2 different styles here. Drexel, although they've hit some threes, they're playing through the paint and scoring off of dribble penetration and post-ups. And Hofstra, it's all predicated on good ball movement. And they're a very good passing team, unselfish, looking for each other.
14 points for Thomas. This feels like a CAA tournament game.
It does. It's got that feel.
March 8th to the 12th.
Good
March 8th to the 12th
Fritz.
in DC. And it'll stay with Drexel. After our timeout, Mr. Thomas, 5th all-time active scorer, Tyreek Turner.
Yeah, we got a good game here. And it's all about ball movement, cutting to the right space, and getting those high percentage shots. Hofstra. Up.
Please draw your attention to the video board.
Thank you.
Sure, let's do that. Yeah. Yep,
Yes,
let's
sir.
do it. Let's get a speedy shot out.
This is the
Okay.
national championship of the program, along with the 3 World University Championships, 4 World University Doubles Championships, 1 Pan-American Championship, and 2 International Cheer Union World Championships. Let's hear it for your Hofsta University dance team.
'AT&T, font 2, font 1.
Congratulating
Yep.
your Hofstra University cheer team on their accomplishments at nationals. They
Got it.
are the University World Cup champions, 6-time winning in the division. Congratulations to your
Is that the NBA title graphic?
cheer team.
Oh, played in the NBA and now. Yes, I got it. I gotcha. Yeah. How many of those will be gone? Speedy's the most successful one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, we'll send you back to our New York studio and join Kiana Martin, Chris Walker, Renee Montgomery, and Seth.
He's in his 3rd year, coming off of 2 21 seasons, trying to make this his 3rd 21 season. Phenomenal coach, one of the best X and O coaches I've seen in the country, and he's still growing. So a lot to be excited about in Hofstra Nation with Speedy Claxton's leadership.
And who brought him in? One Jay Wright.
That's right. He learned from the best.
This is a special place. And a lot of great guards
He
through
grew
the
up
years.
here. I mean, he grew up, he literally grew up in this area, this community, and to be the head coach and have this program on a high level, it's got to be exciting for him and his family.
Back to Sunday. Silas Sunday's been a revelation in the first half.
He has. I have not seen him play this well this season, and I think his physicality, his ability to catch the ball down low make a power move and not be shook up by Williams' physicality. It's really been a nice surprise for Hofsta tonight.
Transfer from Iona out of Our Savior Lutheran. Shot clock down to 10. McGee got it.
Again, the threes are coming off with dribble penetration, and Hofsta is digging on the penetration and helping, and sometimes they are helping a little bit too much, but give Drexel credit. They're stepping up, and McGee has been one of those guys.
Thomas, a bit long for him. And here comes Williams, who, yes, folks, can put the ball on the floor. House is short, but an offensive rebound. Williams trying to get to it. It will stay with the Dragons.
Drexel's only got 2 team fouls. Hofsta's got 5. So as this first half winds down, don't be surprised if Drexel may be a little bit more aggressive on the defensive end because they have some fouls to give.
Drexel started conference play 7-0. Got tripped up at Towson and had some tough ones on the road. This would be a huge one tonight if they could ever get it. That's traveling.
Yes, he did. He took too many steps. And good defense by Hofsta.
You know, you can have one pivot foot.
Yeah, you can't have 2.
I struggled with that back in the day.
That's okay. It's okay. You moved on to your other love, which is broadcasting. See what Hofsta tries to run here. Oh, nice pass.
Wide open, and Fritz capitalizes his first points.
Well, there was no ball pressure on Carlos. He had a clear path, and he's always looking for opportunities, and a great job by Fritz to find an open space.
Butler might have gotten away with one, and he hits. That is an off-balance, tough shot.
Yeah, you hear Butler yelling and one. He wanted the foul, but he wants that opportunity to continue to drive the ball hard, as Hofsta's got 9 assists early on.
Juan Carlos and Tariq, if he's knocking down his jump shot, what's that mean?
Look out, because he's already a dynamic passer and a playmaker, but that's another layer.
Williams with one hand.
I thought that was a good no call. Fritz flopped, and Williams with the power dunk.
A 1-point game late in the first half. We got a timeout.
Why they are playing the kind of tempo that Speedy wants. 5.6 rebounds, which is a lot, by the way, and 3 assists for your starting point guard, and that is a complete floor game for him.
6 of the team's 13 rebounds by the smallest guy on the floor. It's amazing. He really is Brooklyn tough. He's got the basketball now. He thought about it.
This match here, he's going to try to use his quickness.
Oh!
Great job by Williams, and that's the versatility defensively that he has. He's as good a defender as you'll find in this league. And just watch him move his feet and use his length. And Carlos thought he had a shot, but he saw Williams in the shadow and said, no, that maybe it's not a good idea, and shuffled his feet. But that was all about Williams' recovery.
Tariq, this is a big trip to close the half.
Yes, it is, and it's going to be a one-shot situation. Drexel will hold for one. If I'm Drexel, I want the ball in Yame Butler's hands.
It's House
to wind it down.
To Oden, the captain. Short. Sunday with the rebound. Hofstra leads it by 1 heading into the break.
Guard leadership, but points in the paint were a big part of Hofsta's ability to create some offense and dribble penetration, great passing. You know how good of a passing team they are. They lead the CAA with about 15 assists a game. And Amari Williams, he's got to be a little bit more assertive. This was probably his best move, that drive. He wants to get to his left, and you know what he does on the defensive end, blocking shots as a rim protector. He doesn't have to impact the game always by scoring, but defensively and on the glass where he can also do some damage.
Let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Chase.
Yeah, and the points in the paint jump out. 18 to 12, Hofsta in the lead there. And I expect this to be a game where physicality plays a big part. And Hofsta, they score in the paint, not from a traditional poster, but from Thomas and Dubar and Carlos, driving, attacking the paint off of closeouts and dribble penetration in the ball screens. And Amari Williams, on the other end, wants to get the ball down low and overpower guys.
Drexel averages just over 6 made threes per game. But a big part of their offense was that dribble penetration into open looks.
Well, when they get spacing, and Carlos is so good at finding the open man, it just creates so many opportunities for them to score the ball because they get that paint touch. It causes the defense to collapse.
O'Cruz was hot, but back-to-back threes in that first half. Williams in the middle of the paint. He was stood up by Fritz.
And you see what Fritz did? He played on his left shoulder and forced him to go to his right. And that's exactly how you want to guard him because he's such a strong lefty player. That's good scout and report defense right there.
Again for Drexel, no Justin Moore. Sophomore starting point guard out tonight, so Bergen's getting the start. Fritz with multiple fakes, and that against Williams, it's going to be a tough time.
Yeah, he doesn't fall for shot fakes. That's part of his really greatness as a defender. He can stay on his feet, use his length, and force you to take a tough contested shot.
Carlos with those 7 rebounds in the first half. He has been cooking. Kicking off to Dubar. In and out, and Dubar is 1 for 4 tonight.
Well, I can guarantee you that's not going to bother him. He's not the kind of guy that will get down if he misses a few shots.
Bergen's tough. Carlos with straight up defense.
Yeah, Bergen's wanted the foul call, but there was no foul to be called. That's good, clean defense. Carlos was physical with him, but not a foul. Carlos is tie his shoe. Yeah, good job. I was worried about him there.
And he will tie it. Speedy Claxton has his hands on his head after that turnover by Fritz. And that stance by Coach Claxton tells the story. Fairly cleanly played game, though, thus far.
Not a lot of fouls called. I think Drexel had 2 fouls in the first half.
You're right.
Hofstra had 5. No bonus situation for either team.
The officials going for red sauce on Long Island after? Don't blame them. That one's short for Monroe.
Yeah, so offensively, Drexel has had some struggles early on in the second half, and Hofstra is still trying to find their rhythm as well.
ISO ball. Carlos, short. And they'll live with that. Carlos is just a 33% shooter from deep.
Defensively, Hofstra playing man-to-man and
a double Williams.
Post.
House is open.
A lot of jump shots, and Drexel will get back and they'll play their man-to-man, kind of a pack line defense.
Tariq, when Thomas gets to the elbow and then rises, it feels like it's going in.
Well, with single coverage, they're playing the drop coverage, which allows Thomas to get into his spot. And he's so good at reading the defense and snaking that pick and roll that he can get to his spot. That elbow is one of his favorite places to shoot the ball.
Love what you say, snaking that pick and roll.
Yep.
O'Cruz is short. It belongs to Drexel.
And we'll get a chance to see that snake move by Thomas. This is a very popular move. You use the screen, and then you snake it just to keep the defender on your back. And that is just a way to create an angle to shield the defense from getting a clean space to defend and give you a clear look for the basket.
When he led Hofstra with 34.6 rebounds and 6 assists at Drexel last week. First Hofstra player to finish with sole possession of the team lead in all 3 categories since Aaron Estrada. That's pretty good company as Bergens connects.
Well, Bergens has got to stay aggressive. He didn't shoot the ball great, but he did do a good job of using the size, and he's a little bigger than Carlos. He's 6'2", strong, and experienced.
Here is Thomas. Got a step, got his man in the air, and he'll go in the line for a pair.
Well, Thomas is just so good at stopping, starting, changing speeds. And he knew that he was going to get the defender in the air. And that was his goal, to get the defender in the air, go up when he came down, and draw the foul.
Take a look here at the scoring leaders in the CAA. We have seen all these guys this season. Xander Rice at Monmouth playing for King. That's one of the best storylines in this league.
Yes, it is. It's fun to watch. I mean, him and Thomas are the two top dogs when it comes to scoring the ball in this league, and they do it different ways. Thomas is probably a little bit more crafty, and Xander Rice is probably a little bit more explosive with his scoring, his outbursts. I mean, he goes on runs that are just incredible.
He had a half-court buzzer beater against Campbell last week.
I saw it. Unbelievable. Nice play.
That was stripped. Hofstra's opened up this second half with defense.
Yeah, well, they're rotating, they're talking, and they are locked in with their help side defense as well.
Dubar just off tonight thus far, 1 for 5.
Yeah, he's come up short on a few of his shots, and sometimes when your jump shot's not going, try to get something near the basket. He's long and skilled enough to post up.
We've got a timeout on Long Island. Hofstra identified tonight.
8 or 0 for 8. He's going to stay aggressive and put that pressure on the defense. As you look at that star watch there, Thomas has been the one that stood out so far with just scoring. Very efficient, 7 to 12 from the field.
On the flip side, Drexel has started the second half 1 for 6. Right now they're shooting 34% from the field. If that held, it'd be Drexel's lowest shooting performance of the season. That's a bit of an eyebrow raiser because they came in thinking we'll be able to score against Hofstra.
Well, you know, you got to remember their starting point guard's out, and he makes things a lot easier for them. Shot creation, dribble penetration, leadership, and they are missing it. And I think that is a direct reflection of Justin Moore being out, and no one's going to feel sorry for Drexel. Hofstra's trying to take them out, but certainly that is a factor.
John Fanta, Tyreek Turner with you, starting a full evening of college basketball on CBS Sports Network.
And here's that set they run again for kind of a cross screen, ball screen action for Thomas and let him read the defense. It's not an ISO, but they're clearly playing it for Thomas.
Thomas is short. Look at Sunday. Silas Sunday is an everyday guy.
I mean, Silas Sunday is playing his best game that I've seen him play this season. He's been active on the glass, he's been physical, and he's been able to score around the paint. Ties his career high with 8 points.
And look at Dubar soar in for the rebound.
Well, they can get something from Sunday. That might be a revelation for Speedy Claxton as they kind of get closer to conference tourney time.
Tariq, the way Hofstra's playing, it feels personal tonight. You get beat by 2 a week ago.
That's right. That's fresh in their head. And they felt like they deserved some payback, and they're playing like it tonight.
D. Stone Dubar.
Well, there's the length and the ability to extend. Okros tried to stay in front of him, but just too much D. Stone Dubar. And we said that earlier. If your 3 ball's not going, put it on the floor. Try to get a high percentage shot in the paint. That's what he did.
I was just going to say to you, how much do you like that? Simplifying a little bit. McGee attacking. Sunday met him with some hot fudge.
I mean, Sunday's looking like Shaq out here. He's blocking shots, offensive rebounds. I mean, wow. Hey, Sunday is playing like you said. Put some hot fudge on that. You got something there. You got something.
Butler is fouled.
Silas Sunday, the transfer from Iona. Everyone knew he was big, but up until tonight, he hasn't really had much impact. And tonight, he's really making up for lost time. He's been physical. He's overpowered Drexel. And at times, he's overpowered Amari Williams. Great cut.
Williams, and that's more like it for Drexel. They needed to snap out of the drought.
They did.
Over 3 minutes.
Sunday fell asleep, and Amari Williams with a nice cut to the basket for an easy one. And now that D-Stone Dubois just scored, they're going to go right back to him and try to get him going.
Nice spin. Could not hit with the left hand.
And he missed it, but I just like the fact that he attacked the basket.
Monroe got a step and the foul.
Well, both teams coming into this game know how important transition defense is, and Hofstra did not get back. And that was a great push by Drexel, and Monroe with the big-time finish. Lucas, the 6'6" grad senior from Pennsylvania, transferred from Penn.
Shortest transfer portal commute in the history of college basketball.
Yeah. He walked to Drexel.
And he stayed in the Big Five. Drexel joining the Big Five, so more like the Big Six this year.
Yeah.
And Drexel beat Villanova.
Yes, they did, early in the season. Got everybody's attention.
This league put up great non-conference results. UNCW over Kentucky.
Drexel in the zone now at 2-3.
Dubar hangs. Sunday pursues. Look at this from Sunday. You gonna take on the best defender in this league? That's the end result.
I think that was a mistake call. That should be going back to Hofstra. It was deflected off of Drexel.
Nathan Hall jumped in with Tim Kelly and John Gaffney. The whole Drexel bench is up and wants to know what's going on with that call, but 13 on the shot clock here for Hofstra. Carlos. Bounce pass to Thomas. Thomas. And that was well defended by McGee again. Butler, that's a collision, and back to Hofstra.
And that's a foul. I mean, that's a little bit too much contact to let that go. Speedy Claxton is beside himself right here. I'm sorry, not Speedy, but Coach Spiker.
That's a block.
You got to call that. That's something. You call something. It's just too much contact there to let that go.
They've let him play, which we don't mind, but
yeah,
that was pretty blatant.
That was blatant.
Ten on the shot clock here for Thomas. Tyler Thomas, a leader in the CAA in scoring. Short again. McGee's length is bothering him. Williams can pass it. Butler attacks. We are even.
And Butler's had a number of strong drives to the basket. It's on him as that guy that kind of sets the tone with his scoring and his toughness.
What does this game mean? Well, Hofstra trying to be in that top four. They're tied in the standings with Delaware and Towson. Towson right now up on Monmouth. Delaware down at Charleston. So this is a huge game for the Pride. Top four teams get the double bye in the CAA tournament. That's March 8th to the 12th. Semifinals and final will be right here on CBS Sports Network from Washington, D.C.
And down the stretch, Hofstra will face the top three teams in the CAA in the 3 of their final 4 games. So every game is important, but this game is specifically could give them a little bit more of a cushion, if you want to call it, by getting them even with Drexel.
Hofstra is 3 for 14 from 3 after that Plotnikov miss.
Hofstra in the zone as well. It's a chess match defensively. Both teams switching up their defensive looks.
McGee called for it. He's short. Butler pursuing it. It's a battle down low, and Carlos has it.
Hofstra has numbers here.
Carlos with a spin. Carlos was rejected. Butler and McGee said no can do. And now a foul going up on Fritz.
Well, Butler has consistently attacked off the bounce. And it starts with a great block here. Yame Butler, they starting to really kind of show themselves in point guard play. Very evident. Justin Moore out, and he has been a missing piece for Drexel and the reason why their offense hasn't really had that kind of flow. Carlos, on the other end, playing a really good floor game. Amari, get him involved early. Still more to come there. He's got to get more involved, and that's not all on him. And then for Hofsta, they've got to continue to move the ball and be physical in the paint. And I think this game is going to come down to execution in the half court, which team can get back in transition, and which team can protect the paint defensively.
Drexel has their first lead since it was 23-22 with just under 5 minutes left in the first half, and the Dragons are on a 9-0 run. Their best season in the CAA in 12 years. At 10-4, they have not won here in 3 years. Thomas.
One thing Speedy is an expert at is calling after timeout plays. They call them ATOs, and he is one of the best at setting up his team for great shots and execution. A lot of it predicated on spacing and cutting, and good screens as well to get Thomas free.
McGee has been glued on Thomas, though.
And they're doubling him when he drives the ball to the baseline.
So it's into the hands of Carlos. Fritz has been quiet tonight. Fritz goes at Williams and scores.
That's a good move, really good move. He was poised, he took his time, and got an angle with a nice drop step, and that is one of his go-to moves, that left shoulder jump hook.
Now that's a foul on Plotnikov.
Well, there haven't been a lot of fouls called tonight, and I'm okay with that. But there's been a few plays that there's been excessive contact, and those are the plays that you got to call them. And, you know, 13 fouls is all that would have been called in this entire game. That means you got to be physical, you got to be tough, and you can't be expecting fouls to be called. You got to play through the contact and not get caught up in getting calls that you may think should have been there.
That was picked off by Thomas. He telegraphed it.
Yes, he did. He read it perfectly.
Thomas pulls. Tyler Thomas!
And that's just prime Thomas to step back. And kind of that little shiftiness. He's got quick twitch moves when he has the ball in his hands. And the release is just beautiful to watch.
Now a deflection from Dubar. Look at the speed of Carlos. They've got numbers. Gives it off to Dubar, who skies on Long Island.
And if Hofsta wins this game, that might be the play of the game. Defense leading the offense, and Jaquan Carlos got
C-mode for the Geico play of the game.
Well, this is a textbook defense right here. The deflection leads to a run out. Jaquan Carlos, the playmaker, makes the great play and look behind his back for Dubar, who was running the floor, and just a beautiful play in transition is when Hofsta's at their best.
This big three for the Pride. Carlos, Thomas, Dubar. What a combo.
Well, that's their core, and those are their leaders, and they all lead in different ways, but that is a great thing to have for Speedy Claxton. The experience, the mental toughness, the ability to close out games. It's such a luxury to have on your team.
After a 7-0 Drexel run, 7 unanswered for Hofstra. Williams lost the ball. 3 consecutive turnovers by the Dragons.
And the defense has definitely stepped up for Hofstra, and they're making the Amari Williams play in the crowd and digging down to kind of make him get rid of the ball.
There's Fritz. He only had 2 points in the first half, already a couple of buckets in the second.
But when Hofstra plays inside out, they get great shots. And Fritz just steps up real confident to give Hofstra a 7-point lead.
A 9-0 run in just over 90 seconds. House, 4 straight turnovers. They've got more numbers. Dubar, 11-0 run.
offensive foul on Drexel, I believe. It looked like a push-off. And Hofsta scored that last layup. Dubar, they set up some full-court pressure, and Drexel a little flustered. We'll see it here. This is a great steal by French getting on the floor. And look-ahead pass, and Dubar, one of the better finishers on this team. And defensively, Hofstra has been on a run.
And it's 5 consecutive turnovers. And take a look at that. They had 7 up until 2 minutes ago.
Well, we're going to talk about the importance of Justin Moore being out. And you're seeing it right here. His impact as the point guard, the leader, and the floor leader is being felt with him not on the court.
You bet. Over 12 points per game, but the stabilizer of the offense. Leading scorer, 93 assists. And we got a kickball. It'll stay with Drexel after this timeout. Hofstra is on an 11-0 run. The pride of taking control on Long Island.
Young man right here, Serge Clement, a big part of Hofstra's staff, and I've had a chance to spend some time with him over the last couple of years. It's his 3rd year on the staff, does a great job working with the bigs primarily, but also works with Thomas and Dubar in terms of footwork, rebounding, and just scouting personnel. And he's a guy that adds a lot to this staff with Speedy Claxton at the helm. It's not just about Speedy, it's about the collective group, and he's a big part of that. Serge on his way to a big-time career as a future head coach.
There's a company, Silver Waves Media. They named Clement as one of their 75 rising stars, impactful men's mid-major assistants. Congrats to him on those honors. 6 on the shot clock here. Drexel greatly needs a basket. Bergens to House. House with 1 has to heave. That's a shot clock violation.
Well, Hofstra is taking over this game with their defensive intensity, their rotations. They're contesting everything. They're forcing turnovers. And Drexel has not been able to come up with any answers. It's either a bad shot or a turnover, and Drexel has 13 on the game.
They had 7 turnovers in the first 30 minutes of this game. In the last 3 minutes, they've posted 6.
It's an important, crucial stretch. They'll look back on this.
Nice dump down. That is a tough bucket by Dubar. He was the guy who propelled this run.
Yes, he was, and you know, we talked about him struggling a little earlier, but he clearly has forgotten about that. He got himself going by going to the rim and not settling for threes. That's a sign of a good player.
13-0 run as Carlos commits the foul.
Zach Spiker is searching for some kind of rotation and some kind of surge from his team, and this is a dry spell for his team in terms of offensive continuity and scoring the ball. The last 5-6 minutes, they have not been able to get much done on that end of the ball.
A 4-minute scoring drought. Butler got deep. Thomas said no.
Great job by Carlos. He knows when to push it, when to pull it out. And
Thomas is limping.
Yeah, it looks like he might have tweaked his foot. They're going to play through Dubar.
Ooh, he is hobbling. Dubar and 1.
Well, Dubar and Thomas are taking turns, and hopefully Thomas is okay. He might have just tweaked his ankle. But Dubar has taken over this game. And, you know, I think they're the best 1-2 combination in the league, John, because they can take turns and they play off each other. And saw the replay where Thomas landed funny, but hopefully he's okay.
In the day, Tyreek, you have a duo averaging 40 points per game.
It's a luxury to have. Oof. And then a point guard like Carlos, I mean, you got a core 3 that you could go a lot of ways with.
Dubar with 11 points in second half as Williams, they needed someone to break it up. That ends a 16-0 0-0 run over just 3:55 of game time.
Yeah, well, they, as you said, they needed the basket, and Williams, sensing that urgency, gets to his strong side, and the hard drive left is his favorite move.
How's that ankle? We're about to find out. Long, Fritz with the rebound, and Williams fouls him.
Well, it's the little things that are really big things, and that's the toughness, the pursuit of the ball. And Jaco Fritz, a 6'10" graduate, fifth-year guy, back-to-back games in double figures before Saturday, including 11 points versus Drexel in their last outing.
Dubar, again, 11 of his 13 have come in the second half. That time he was stripped.
And he lost sight. Bergens creeped up behind him.
Bergens, just a little bit long. It was on line. Drexel in the second half, Tyreek, 0 for 6 from 3.
Yeah, they hit 4 in the first half, I believe, and
you're right.
Have gone cold.
Tyler Thomas is off. And what do we have here? A foul from behind.
And over the back reach on Dubar. That's a 16th foul for the Pride.
So they have none left to give. Drexel at 5. They still have 1 to give. Tyreek, you think about this Hofstra team in the CAA tournament. We go back to that duo and a point guard. Sometimes in the conference tournament, you just got to show up and play. These three just play.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this at the beginning of the year, you and I, and I've always felt like Hofstra, at the end of the season, was going to be one of the more dangerous teams because of those 3 guys, and then the role players know what their role is. Good job defensively by Fritz.
In the midst of Charleston season last year, some forget Hofstra was crowned regular season champions.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Good pass.
To Carlos. And the rebound for Butler. Drexel still alive, but time's becoming a factor. And that's a foul on Carlos, which puts Drexel in the bonus.
Not a lot of foul shots taken by either team tonight. Yami Butler. And double figures tonight with 10 points.
67% free throw shooter. Hits the front end. He's a transfer from State Fair Community College in Missouri. Zach Spiker loves the passion he plays with. He hits both there. We've got a 10-point game here with 4:16. What can Drexel do to keep chopping into this and give themselves a chance in the final 2 minutes?
Well, it would help if they could get multiple stops. And they're going to show some full court pressure here to kind of force the turnover, and good trap there on the sideline. But now they got numbers. Carlos, you know, one of the things that a point guard is responsible for is understanding his time to score and knowing when to attack and when to run a half-court set. Carlos does a good job of reading that.
Thomas. Williams shut it down. Shot clock's at 6. Carlos with 3. Carlos rejected.
And that was blocked. Big time block by Butler.
Butler looking for Monroe. Now here's Butler again. Butler is stripped and fouled. And we've got a timeout in a 10-point game, but Drexel will have a chance to get back within single digits after this timeout.
Point guard, the general, making the game easy for his teammates. His quickness, his distribution, and his leadership has just been phenomenal. He just makes the right reads, keeps everyone involved, and controls tempo with his speed and ability to keep his team organized. Just an overall solid game for the Pride, particularly in the second half, and that right there tells a story. 16-0 run. the last 4:28.
So Drexel back within 9 off that free throw. This is known as Drexel Day. Why? On this day, 6 years ago, Drexel set a Division I record for the largest comeback ever in a game. They trailed by 34 to Delaware, ended up coming back and winning 85-83.
I'm not even sure if they're aware of that, Drexel, but that's an incredible comeback and makes this one sound like small potatoes.
Timeout Hofstra, 8-point game. Record trying to get into that top 4 for the CAA tournament. Hofstra with 1 timeout, Drexel with 2. Drexel still has a foul to give. Hofstra in the penalty.
Trying to get that trap off the first pass, and if they don't get it, they got to sprint back and set up their half-court defense. And if you're Hofstra, you want to be aggressive in attack, but you don't want to take quick shots. You want to work some clock and still be aggressive.
Carlos with 8 on the timer. Off to Thomas. He's been the CAA's best scorer. Tyler Thomas is a bucket!
And he put the too small sign up because he just shredded him with a great shot fake, 1 dribble pull-up. Great execution. And what number is that, John?
2,200 career points.
They should stop the game for that.
4th among active players. Kick out to McGee. Can't connect. Dubar's got it. In a must-win situation, Hofstra's leaders have risen to the occasion in the second half.
You said it perfect. The leadership, and it's been a 3-man party between Carlos, Thomas, and Dubar. And just watch the execution here. It starts with the pass, and that was a great screen by Fritz that freed up Thomas to create some space.
Dubar to Fritz. Fritz with an exclamation point. He hung on the rim. That's a technical foul.
Great job, aside from the technical foul, by Hofstra making the extra pass. It was a breakdown in communication by Drexel, and Fritz missed a wide open dunk.
Listen to this crowd.
Can we see that replay again? Because, did he hang on the rim for a long time?
Butler misses the first free throw.
Great pass by Dubar. What do you think, John? Hey, that was...
I'm going to say let him play.
I've seen worse.
I've seen far worse, and we talk about celebrating on baskets. Sometimes just let him play on.
Meanwhile, Thomas continues to put up 20-point games. This is his 19th 20-point game.
So now you're less than 2 minutes. They've got to hurry.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of time. And without having a ball handler that can create, it's been very difficult for Drexel.
Williams and 1.
Well, when it just comes to sheer athleticism and just overpowering an opponent, there's no one better than Amari Williams. I talked to a couple of scouts before the game that are here to watch him, and they said, hey, he is an athlete and he has a pro body. So I can see him playing on the next level. He's got that kind of physicality.
Williams converts as Bergens comes back in. So go quicker here.
Now, if you're Drexel, you got to get some pressure, and you got to try to trap and get some turnovers. The problem is that Hofstra does a great job of handling the press, and they've got a maestro point guard in Carlos.
Just 8 turnovers tonight. Now Bergens will foul him, and that puts Hofstra in the bonus.
And Carlos, all he does is shoot 91% from the foul line.
Say that again?
91. And that's what you want from your point guard. You want him to have the ball at the crunch time and be able to make foul shots and seal the game.
He has 10 rebounds to lead everybody tonight. And he's the smallest guy on the court.
Got a big heart. Brooklyn kid, Thomas Jefferson High School. Coached by Bud Pollard and Selden Jefferson, 2 great Brooklyn legends. that I played against, actually. I played against both of them at West Virginia.
Wow.
And they told me both that Jaquan Carlos is the kind of guy that you want on your team because of his work ethic, his IQ, and his leadership.
Did you beat him?
We split. We split.
Look at you being honest.
Yeah. It's a hard place to win, Morgantown.
You bet. Drexel with 2 timeouts. Williams trying to drive it, and Fritz is called for the foul. Speedy Claxton's hands go up in the air.
I don't know why Fritz is upset. That was an obvious foul.
Take a look at that stat. 56-1 when allowing fewer than 60 points in a game in the last 11 years. And 52 consecutive wins. That's unbelievable.
Yes, and they did it by not giving up any transition baskets, doing a great job of making Williams work, and contesting everything.
This program, the job Coach Claxton's done, Joe Mahalik, previous to him, since 2018, they're on the cusp of a 129th win. In the metropolitan area, that's 19 more than any other program.
Exceptional.
It is.
Hofsta's got to expect to get fouled at this point. Drexel's going to try to stop the clock, and now it's going to become a foul shooting game.
Uh-oh. Dangerous pass. Carlos, though, corral. And he's immediately fouled.
And the plot thickens, John, with the standing situation now, because if Hofstra wins this game, which it looks like they will move to 10-5, and they will be in that top 4 slot, which is what they're hoping to do.
Take a look at that note. The free throw shooting by this club. And when you're second to only Villanova, who was winning national championships during that span, that says it all. Carlos 91% on the year. Oh, a rare miss. Bergens takes a bump. House heaves and hits. And they're within 8 with 1:07 left. Carlos.
Good trap. Good trap.
Great trap. They get it into the hands of Dubar now. They got to get it over, and they barely do. Thomas is fouled.
You got to respect the effort by Drexel. And when you're playing from behind, it becomes so difficult because of the fact that Hofstra has great ball handlers. They went small in his last stretch because they wanted 5 ball handlers on the floor for quickness and ball security reasons. Now Thomas will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, it's Khalil Farmer enters for Hofstra. Thomas 1-1, 83% on the year. And Drexel with 2 timeouts. Hofstra with 1. And another front end, and this time Thomas hits. We'll have 2 free throws, by the way, on every foul the rest of the way. Both teams double bonus. So, back up by 10. Butler attacking, can't connect.
Well, that's been the story of the game. Not for Butler. Butler's played pretty well with his double-figure scoring effort, but you know, Drexel's missed a lot of layups. They missed a lot of layups in the first half, and second half not as many, but they have had their opportunities at the basket as we look at the remaining schedule for the Pride.
Elon, very winnable opportunity, and then that road swing. And their thought process is, can we get 1? Of course, you want to have 2.
Yeah.
But that's the toughest road swing in the league.
It is, and You know, that's why this game was so important. You know, you get this game, you get to the 10-win mark, you give yourself a little bit of breathing room, and obviously a different mentality when you go out on the road against some of the top teams in the conference.
Towson beat Monmouth tonight. Charleston beat Delaware 90-71. UNCW over William and Mary. So Bergens is long, out of bounds off the Dragons. That means Charleston at 12-3. UNCW just a game back.
There's that full court pressure again.
For those of you tuning in for the Sam Houston, New Mexico State game, you'll be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game.
It's a big-time win for the Pride to get revenge after a week ago losing by 2. It's a solid win for the Pride, and they get to that 10-win mark.
So you have 3 teams at 10-5 in the league. Drexel, Towson, and Hofstra. Towson has Charleston Saturday at noon on CBS Sports Network.
Yep. And you know that this is going to be an interesting couple weeks as we get ready for the conference tournament in early March.
Hofstra does